The number of recorded executions worldwide has risen to its highest level in 5 years. The human rights organisation Amnesty International says 883 people were known to have been executed last year. It's an increase of more than 50% on the year before. Figures don't include China, where thousands are thought to be executed each year. We'll come back to that in a moment. 90% of recorded executions were carried out in just 3 countries: Iran, Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Well, Chiara San Giorgio is from Amnesty International. Thanks very much for coming on the programme.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just start with China. Why isn't China included in those figures?
Based on our assessment, we can confidently say that China continued to execute and sentence to death thousands of people last year. However, figures remain classified as a state secret. And because of lack of access and lack of independent monitors, it's really difficult for us to put a figure together that would not unnecessarily underestimate the reality of the use of the death penalty in China.
I see. So it's that lack of certainty about being able to calculate the numbers that means they're not in. The overall number would be significantly higher if China was in. This increase that we've seen over the last few years, do you have any assumptions about reasons for that?
Yes, we have seen an uptake in executions for drug-related offences in Iran and Saudi Arabia. Iran carried out 44% of all its executions for this crime, and Saudi Arabia also reported drug-related executions, while it had not done so in previous years. We have seen these 2 states being the primary drivers for the 53% increase in the global number of known executions. And this is incredibly alarming, also because of the unfairness of the trials and the forced confessions that very often lead to the convictions and the imposition of the death penalty.
Actually, what about efforts to bring down the number? Interestingly, there's a kind of parallel. The main story that we've been covering over the last hour or so is a group of European countries who came together in 1949, human rights based. And one of the things they did was end capital punishment for the region of, what is it, 700 million people, I think, in that 49 countries. That was and still is, clearly celebrated as a significant achievement by them. What would need to happen for more countries to have that kind of record?
Last year, in addition to the 53% increase in executions, we also saw 6 countries abolishing the death penalty in full or partially. So we know that we are on the right track. We know that the death penalty will be consigned to history. We need to start denouncing more of the executions that we hear about. We need to put pressure on the governments that are responsible for the executions, and for the governments that do liaise and do have relationship with those countries that are the highest executioners in the world. It's important also that we support the human rights defenders in the countries that are putting their lives on the line to fight and campaign against the death penalty, and make it known that it's not only their fight, but it's also our fight too.
Chiara San Giorgio, thank you very much for your time and talking us through that. Thank you.